Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And it is so early. It is 2:27 p.m. and not a.m., p.m. And I have gotten so much done today. I feel very accomplished today. I went to bed early and I got up early today and I vlogged, and this is my 7th video that I have filmed. So I have done a lot of stuff around the house and made the bed real nice and Christmassy and cleaned up around the house a little bit, and even got ready and did my hair and everything today. So I feel very accomplished today. So let's get right into the meditations. I think I'm going to actually read from the Melody Beatty books again today because I love them so much. I mean, I love all of these meditation books, but I really, really like the Melody Beatty books. Okay, let's get into this. December 10th, empowerment. And this is from The Language of Letting Go. You can think, you can make good decisions, you can make choices that are right for you. Yes, we all make mistakes from time to time, but we are not mistakes. We can make a new decision that takes new information into account. We can change our mind from time to time. That's our right too. We don't have to be intellectuals to make good choices. In recovery, I'm laughing because it's so true. In recovery, we have a gift and a goal available to each of us. The gift is called wisdom. Other people can think too, and that means we no longer have to feel responsible for other people's decisions. That also means we are responsible for our own choices. We can reach out to others for feedback. We can ask for information. We can take opinions into account. But it is our task to make our own decisions. It is our pleasure and right to have our own opinions. We are each free to embrace and enjoy the treasure of our own mind, intellect, and wisdom. Today I will treasure we are each free to embrace and enjoy the treasure of our own mind, intellect, and wisdom. Today I will treasure the gift of my mind. I will do my own thinking, make my own choices, and value my opinions. I will be open to what others think, but I will take responsibility for myself. I will ask for and trust that I am being guided by divine wisdom. Wow, I really like this meditation because, I think... Have you ever met people that, like, you say, there's probably some of you out there, and I've been this person before, right? It's like, where do you want to go to dinner? I don't care. When we really do, or it's like, well, what do you want to do? I don't care. Or do you want to do this? Where do you want to go on vacation? I don't care. And there are just a lot of people out there that just don't want to make decisions. Because I think often in life, and I'm not just talking about, those are easier decisions, right? I'm talking about more difficult life decisions. When we have to make more difficult life decisions, we also are aware that we have to take the responsibility that goes along with those decisions. It's like, once you make that decision and if it impacts the lives of others, well, you have to take responsibility for that as well. I talk a lot in all of my videos and channels about accountability and responsibility. I think because it's probably been one of the greatest things that I have learned in my sobriety and in my recovery and in my life is just the power to take responsibility for your actions, and sometimes we don't want to, and sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it's more difficult than others. But I think it's so empowering to realize that you have the right to your own choices. You have the right to your own opinions. It's like my best friend says, I have my opinion, and my opinion can change at a moment's notice. I can change my opinion 5 times in a minute if I want to. And that is our right as humans. And I think, we live in such a culture and society today that it's like, if you have an opinion about something, that you are not allowed to have that opinion change or be persuaded or anything. It's like, no, that's your opinion and that's who you are and you have to stick to it. And it makes me kind of sad, I remember... in my teenage years and early in college before I stopped drinking and got sober, and even after that, I guess, but I can remember having these long intellectual conversations with my friends where we would just sit around and we would talk about things, and we didn't necessarily have the same opinions about things, but it didn't mean that we disliked one another. It just meant that we respected each other for our opinions and said, well, tell me more about that, My best friend and I have been friends for 24 years. In 24 years, we've only had one argument that was so ridiculous and so short-lived. And we really have. And we have never allowed issues or belief systems to stand in the way of our friendship. What we have done is said, I don't necessarily see it that way. Can you explain it to me? Or can you show me a different way, And we're able to have adult conversations. With empowerment, goes adult decision making and goes adult responsibility. And it's about growing up, you know? You can't just stay 5 for the rest of your life and say, I don't care, I don't know, I don't care, I don't know. You know, at some point you have to start making some decisions, and it's freeing. It really, really is when you start making some decisions. You know, I remember there was a time where it was years ago, and it was a decision that I had to make about something, and I called my dad, and we kind of got in this argument about it because I was like, well, why didn't you teach me that? And my dad said to me, finally, after being very nice, he said, who do you think taught me? And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, who do you think taught me everything that I know? He goes, you think that my dad showed me all of this? He goes, that's not the case, Peter. He said, you know, I had to make a lot of decisions on my own. Some of them were good, and some of them weren't. And he said, you know, and that's how I learned in life, like where I wanted my life to go. Another thing that my dad really believes in is this idea of the decision tree, okay, which I think is apropos to what I'm talking about today. And the decision tree is like this tree of life, right? And when you go up the trunk of the tree, it's like, you know, in life you'll have to make a major decision. And so the tree goes either way. If you go this way with your decision, then when you get to that, there's 2 more decisions, then 2 more, and then 2 more, and 2 more. So it ends up looking like this huge tree of decisions that you've made over time. And I think it's kind of this interesting idea, right? That there's always going to be decisions that you have to make in life. And I have had to make some very difficult decisions in my life that haven't been easy, you know? And I look back on those decisions, and I don't necessarily regret those decisions because they've led me to where I'm at today. That's not to say that there aren't things in my life that I regret. You know, I talked about that on my Peter Does Stuff channel the other day, that I'm not somebody that can say I don't have regret in my life. I just don't. There are things I wish that I had done differently in my life, but those things also formed me into the person that I am today. So that's real talk, you know? But that being said, I mean, I've had some really hard decisions that I've had to make in my life, and I look back on them and I think, well, you know, if things were different, I mean, I don't know what I would do, you know? But like, there are a lot of decisions that I wouldn't do things differently, and I'd keep them just the same. So, I mean, and you know, hindsight's 20/20. But I think in life, to feel empowered enough to be able to make some real adult life decisions, you know, and say, okay, I'm a grown-up, I've got some life experience, I can make some of these decisions, you know? You know, it's interesting because we have this couple that lives down the street from us, and they're the husband and wife are the exact same age as I am, and they live outside of our neighborhood, like in a house, but I see them at the pool a lot because, anyway, they're part of this neighborhood, so they use our pool. And so this summer, the wife I see a lot when she walks, and she and I have become friends over the last 10 years. And so anyway, their kids have grown up, and they have several kids, like 3 or 4 kids. They have 3 kids. So, 3 kids? Yes, 3 kids. And so one is off to college, and then one is in high school, and one is just starting high school. And I was sitting there, and I was driving out of our neighborhood the other day, and I was thinking about them, and I thought, because it looked like one of the sons got a new car. And I was thinking to myself, like, that's so bizarre to me, right? Like, I am the age that I could have children that I would be buying cars for that were in college and things like that, you know, if I had the finances for that. And I thought that's so crazy to think that that's what my life could be like, you know, and because my life path was completely different than friends of mine. You know, I have friends of mine whose kids are out of college now that are my age, you know, that their kids went to college and graduated and are married and stuff. And I look at that and I think, God, it's so crazy to me, you know, that because my life is so different. And I think I still kind of put some of those things, like having kids, raising kids, having a house, making dinner every night for your kids. I look at those as kind of like some adult things that I kind of just passed over. Like, I didn't have to do those things, you know? So, but making decisions is something that has definitely empowered me in my life and allowed me to, you know, just to own my life, to say, this is my life and I get to call the shots. That's a really empowering thing, you know? And I have many friends of mine that have been in situations for so much of their life where they weren't growing up, and even after that, you know, in marriages and things where they weren't able to make their own decisions. And so to get out of that and to say, no, I make the decisions today for me is truly empowering. So I really like that meditation. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.